What's up? It's Marco Sage Soccer, and Croatia is through to the next round of the World Cup. Big win on penalties over Japan, and man, that was a very even game. I think penalties was a fair result, and when it just comes down to that, I still feel like it's basically just a coin flip, and Croatia ended up coming up on top. This is how they got to the semifinals last time, two penalty wins, and then won against England in the semis, and I feel like this was the fair result for the game. I think overall, I think Croatia was the better team most of the time, though Japan had some spells where they were looking really good, and I think those spells by Japan were probably better than Croatia's. So I feel like that's a probably fair, the 1-1 result. Japan got their goal off a set piece, a cross that Perisic headed home, got Croatia their goal, and man, I think it was a very even game. You can see a lot of good work in the midfield. We know how good Croatia's is. They were able to get most of the ball, but still very good performances by Mitma, by Endo in the midfield for Japan. I think Ito was doing well as that wing back. Might have let Perisic go for that goal that Croatia scored, but he's not a defender. That's not in his game. I think overall for Japan, it was a pretty good game for them. I think that Tomiyasu, he came in, but he was a little bit rusty. Probably not, he would have wanted him to get more time. I feel like if he was at his best, maybe Japan would have had a better chance, but I feel like the game was so even, it would have gone either way anyway. He's still a really good player, and he's only going to get better. Then I think the defense overall was a little bit shaky. They did sub on Sakai for a reason. And the good thing, though, was Croatia's attack just looked really bad. I'll get into that a bit later. I think for Japan, a big problem for them was Kamada just didn't get to show his stuff, really, not today, and really not the entire tournament. He's being played pretty out of position, which I understand they want to have their formation, but he really wasn't looking like that good of a player. He's their best player, in my opinion, and he really didn't get to show it this entire tournament, and I think that held them back a bit. Good job by Midas, scored that goal. You know, having a good striker that can go a long way, that was good for them. And I think overall, though, Japan, they have to be really satisfied with this tournament. Just winning that group, especially after losing to Costa Rica, like, that's amazing. You have a lot of talent, a lot of young talent to make even better. I feel like come 2026, when you get Mitma maybe in his prime, you're going to get, you'll still have like a Minamino. Dewan's going to be playing even better. Kamada will probably still be good. Tomiyasu's only going to improve. Hopefully they don't have Zion Suzuki in goal, because I really want the U.S. to get him and bring him into the January camp. But Zion Suzuki's a really good goalkeeping prospect. Gonda, he was fine, but I feel like you could definitely upgrade that. That guy would definitely help. So a lot of good players to look out for in the future. And I think Japan can be proud after this game. For Croatia, good performance. I think their defense was really solid. Only like one set piece that got through. Maybe Gavardiol could have done better with it, but it's just a set piece, is what it is. Lovren was having a really good game, probably his best game of the tournament, and if he's going to be playing well, that makes Croatia look a lot better. I think their defenders were dealing with the Croatia attack, or the Japan attack, really well, especially considering Sosa was missing for this game. I think the fullbacks really stepped up and had a good performance, even though like maybe it's like I wasn't sure they should be playing, but they did a good job. Midfield, as always, looks really good. Brozovic, Kovacic, Modric, even the substitutes were playing pretty well. Like, that's always going to be Croatia's strength. And even if they have Brazil in the next round, which is the likely game for them, I think that they're probably going to be able to get the better of them. Brazil's midfield is probably their weaker point, especially if Neymar is going to be unavailable. We'll have to see, though. Then I think the big problem for Croatia today was their attack. Perisic was looking good. We know that we're going to get a good performance out of him. But Petkovic and Kamaric, they were really not looking good at all. They weren't getting involved in the play. And if they're not going to have a good attacker, then Croatia, it's going to be really tough to beat Brazil. Because I think that Brazil is going to be able to get the better of this Croatian defense. Like, I really like the Japan attack, but it's not like great players. With Brazil, like, especially if Neymar's available, you've got Vinicius, Rafinha. You're going to have probably a Rodrigo off the bench, Richarlison up front. Like, so many good attackers, and I think you have to have a goal in you if you want to be able to advance in that game. So the attack definitely has to step up, but overall I think it was a very good game. just two teams that were pretty even going at it and having a great competition. For Croatia, next game against Brazil, as I mentioned before, it's going to be a tough one. I think Brazil's going into that game pretty heavy favorites. Or it could be South Korea. We still don't know. I mean, last time South Korea played Brazil, I think Brazil dropped 5 on them. But Kim Un-jae, he wasn't available for that game, so maybe that could turn the tides for South Korea. But yeah, overall, very good game. An even matchup between two teams that were going for it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Croatia in that next round. Japan, they had a good performance. I think they'll be back and they'll be strong again. Good young players on that team. And yeah, that's all we have to talk about. Looking forward to that next game today. Going to be covering Brazil, South Korea later today, so subscribe if you want to see that. And yeah, that's all I'll talk about. See you.